why do so many of us struggle to, with this idea that evangelism is about a single moment? And for many of us, it's because we've heard stories like Caden just shared about a specific date of conversion, or me, it's about a Christian camp, building to a climactic moment or altar call. And so much of the stories we share are about evangelism through a big event, an altar call at a camp, a church service where the sermon ends with a gospel invitation. And I think that's, part of why this myth exists.
Yeah, we've had such a kind of traditional understanding of an evangelistic event over the years that you're absolutely right. It makes sense for us to think, okay, so when we bring them to the evangelistic event or the end of the mission week, that will be the moment. We can totally see how that would reinforce what we're suggesting is a myth today, and we'll explore it more fully as to whether it actually is or it isn't in due course. But I think something else that can be an issue is that because sometimes in the church we can kind of put a bit of pressure, not always bad pressure, but put a bit of pressure on people to go out and tell their friends about Jesus. The idea is go and tell them and win them or bring them to the event. And because we're putting pressure on people to kind of get involved, we're then doubling down and reinforcing the idea that at some point, if you get involved, there will be a moment when your friend might respond to Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we don't want to, downplay a specific moment or event, but through this episode, we hope you understand evangelism is both about a significant moment or moments, and it's about a journey. Because I think oftentimes what has proliferated this belief is that we're emphasizing more the action people take in their conversion rather than the steps they take afterward to live out that faith. So we're emphasizing, come, step forward, pray a prayer, raise a hand, and more recently, it's click a button to say you want to follow Jesus. And none of these are bad. They're amazing. They're drawing people to a decision, but oftentimes, or I would not necessarily oftentimes, but when we emphasize that single moment over what comes afterwards, sometimes we just we minimize evangelism to that single moment.
Totally. And we could explore all the different ways in which people are invited to respond in the moment, because there's there's two levels of the moment. There's the moment of the event. Come to the event. Oh, so the whole event is a moment where they can hear the gospel. And then there's the moment within the moment. This is kind of getting like Inception, dreams, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, there's the moment within the moment where the person actually then gets to ask the question. And then how are you going to do it? Like you were just saying, do you raise your hand? Do you stand up? Do you push a button? Like I've known in the times of COVID, there's been drive-in evangelism where people drive in, hear it, and then to respond to the gospel, they have to flash the lights of their car.
Oh my goodness, really?
Whatever it takes. Yeah, whatever it takes to indicate the gospel. But again, it's all coming back to this kind of idea that we want to get people to the moment where they then indicate and respond to our evangelism.
So what's true about this myth that evangelism is about a single moment? And last episode on evangelism is unethical, Ben, you introduced this definition of evangelism that was really helpful. And what we want to define evangelism is in this series is the Holy Spirit empowered proclamation of the good news of Jesus Christ to the world in the hope that they may accept the forgiveness of God and be reconciled to Him eternally. So that Holy Spirit empowered proclamation of the good news of Jesus Christ is what, Ben, you're doing with your friend over and over and over again over years. And so we want to emphasize that evangelism can happen in many different moments over time.
Yeah, and of course that will then result in many people being able to pinpoint a specific moment of conversion. Caden said that she can't do that, and I'm the same. I actually can't pinpoint a specific moment per se of conversion. I remember when I was 10 years old, initially telling my parents that I wanted to become a Christian. The main reason why I did that was because my sister had become a Christian about 2 weeks earlier, and when she did, she got given loads of books and stuff. This was the 80s, like books are about as good as it got then, so I wanted them too. And so I was like, great, if I become a Christian, I get some books. And so I kind of made an initial decision when I was 10, and I can kind of pinpoint it to that. But to be honest with you, when it really started to take root in my life was in and around the age of 17. And again, it was a number of events that played a role in leading me to that place. But I couldn't give you an actual date of yes, the 12th of January, 1992 was the day that I became a follower of Jesus. I can't do it because there was more of a process. And yet it's inevitable that if we're giving people an opportunity to respond to Christ. There will be many people that will take that opportunity on that day and remember the day that happened that led them into the life that follows.